Jamie, at the 1 minute and 10-second mark, you made a crucial steal that allowed Ginebra to keep possession
Yeah.
of the ball. But during the last 29 seconds of the game, the ball was, you turned over the ball. How were you able to balance that mentality of not being too high, not being too low with those two things that happened and remain composed in the game?
Um, I think we have vets. We have great coaches that are nonstop on young players like myself. So coach says it all the time. We can't be too high or too low in moments like these. And with a good team like that, they played a hell of a game without an import, especially late game. With a team like that, we knew we didn't have it easy, and we had to play till the very last seconds of the game. So I got to credit my players and my coaches for keeping me level-headed during these moments. So for sure.
I saw LA Tenorio actually trying to pull you to the bench when that happened. Obviously, you didn't like what happened during the dying seconds of the match. What was he telling you?
He was telling me it's all right next play. You know, we
Yeah.
can't
Next play.
we can't look at we can't have our heads down in moments like that, and we just got to keep going forward. So that's pretty much all he was saying.
Coach, first and foremost, happy birthday.
Yeah.
um, all throughout the game, we saw a lot of patience with Ginebra's offense. It gave you 27 second chance points because of that. Just talk about what you saw from your boys tonight.
I have to look at all the numbers. I haven't seen the numbers, so I just know from firsthand it was a struggle out there. Their defense is so quick. You know, they get to the ball and then they recover back, and then they get back to the ball. It's just so quick, and it's frustrating because they scout really well. You know, they know what's coming, and so you know the things that we were used to getting in the last series and through the eliminations, we weren't getting it today. So it was really a struggle, and it's such a mental game out there. But those guys, our guys, you know, they just kept battling, and it wasn't pretty. And you know, in the playoffs, it's not about pretty basketball. There's no pokey points in basketball. You know, I mean, in the playoffs, it's all about getting it done, and that's what our guys did. They got it done, and so, you know, on to the next game too. You know, we're going to see a lot more. We're going to see a motivated Rakostovic come back in the second game too. So, you know, we're going to have to brace ourselves for that.
Coach Justin also took only 2 shots in the first half. Actually, he tried to take more shots from the threes than the twos in this game. Just talk about the adjustment that everybody else had to make with Magnolia limiting Justin tonight.
Well, you know, I mean, like I said, you know, we were used to getting stuff from Justin, and they took a lot of that, what Justin normally gets, away. So you got to credit them, their defense. You got to credit their scouting, and the coaching staff for coming up with a really good plan. Now that we've seen it, hopefully we can figure out ways to counter it and get Justin more looks in game two. That'll be on our coaching staff to be able to do that, and the guys, you know, doing that on the floor. So, you know, that's what this series is all about. It's all about, you know, counters and adjustments and to what the other team is doing. So they're going to counter some of the stuff that we did today, and we're going to have to counter some of the stuff that they did today. But I just think it's going to be a heck of a series. I'm just happy we got game one. Game one is crucial. Doesn't guarantee you winning the series, and losing game one doesn't guarantee you're going to lose the series. But it does give you a leg up, a very important leg up as you go forward.
At this point, we open the floor to our friends from the press.
What you were telling Jamie earlier that it's always difficult to beat a team without an import.
Oh, you heard that. Daya, you weren't supposed to hear that. I guess I had my mic on at that time, right? Yeah, it's you know, historically, it's always been tough to beat a team without an import. And when an import leaves the game, I mean, it either goes one way. Either that team gets frustrated over what happened and kind of lets down, and one team is able to take away, or they lift up. And a good team like Magnolia, a well-coached team like Magnolia, they're going to lift up the game. And all the locals lifted up, and I think the other team, seeing that team without an import, they kind of have a natural letdown. And I thought we had, I could see it about the first three, especially the first 3 or 4 minutes when after he left the game. I felt our intensity level went down, both on offense and defense. And again, that's a natural thing. You don't want to do that, but it's just natural and it happens. So beating a team without an import, you know, we played talk and text without an import early in the conference and barely escaped with a win. So, you know, it can actually become even more difficult. Hard to believe, but it does.
Jimmy, how does it feel playing in a semis with the Manila Classico as background?
It's definitely exciting. You know, it's exciting as a player. You want to be in an atmosphere like this. This is what you sort of dreamed of as a player. So, you know, now that I'm here, I'm sort of, you know, trying to collect these wins and adapt to what's going on, and trying to learn as quick as possible so we can be better forward. So I definitely don't try and think about it, but it's definitely a fun environment, the Filipino fans and everything going on in this. So I'm just looking for the next game for sure.
Awesome. Good one.
Coach,
Can Jamie go now? Go. Get out of here.
Thank you, Coach. Happy birthday. See you in a sec.
Sorry.
Thank you, guys.
the way what happened to Kosovic will not play a factor to the rest of the series? Is composure?
Well, you know, I mean, it's just one game, you know, so, you know, you know, that's something that, you know, the imports always have to come in and adjust to, you know. You know, you've seen it through the years. You know, imports have that, you know, they can get really explosive and it gets them in trouble and it gets their team in trouble. But, you know, and you know, it's happened to me. It happened with imports I've had, Marcel Ellis and guys like that who just, you know, suddenly just go off the handle and you're sitting here facing, all of a sudden you have to play all Filipino. And it's tough. But, you know, he'll learn. He's really a great player. He's really a smart player. And he'll figure it out. He's going to come out, I think, extra motivated here in this game too. And that's something we're going to have to understand and try to meet that challenge, because he's going to be really motivated here in the next game. And he's tough because you can't scheme him. You can't stop what he does, because it's not about scoring. It's not about, you know, hitting three-point shots or driving to the basket, or it's all about just hustle plays. You know, getting to the boards, running the floor, you know, getting tips here and there. That's, you know, I mean, I use the example to our team with Scotty Thompson. You know, Scotty plays like he does. You know, guys, you always talk about, you got to keep Scotty off the boards. Scotty still gets to the boards. Same thing with Kosovic. We talk about it all the time. We got to keep him off the boards, but he has that motor that keeps him on, that keeps him going to the boards over and over again. And you need tremendous focus and concentration just to stay with him so he doesn't get those rebounds. And you can't, because there's so many other things going on that you have to worry about. It's hard to just keep that focus on him not getting to the rebound. So, you know, he's really special. He's got some special skills in terms of that. So that's on us to try to stop it. You know, so, you know, I'm sure he's going to adjust and come in the next game ready to go.
That concludes our post-game press conference. Congratulations, Coach.
May tiketa, nakalapag sa likod ng atleta. Numero pero dala ang bandera. Etyo diretso sa gupa ang buwelta.